Chapter 13, this is going to be a real quick one. We're just going to look at viewing the model using several different display styles. So let's jump back in here. Hopefully you're still sitting in that corridor design file. If not, go ahead and open up that corridor design file. Should look something like this. And here in the 2D view, you're seeing the corridor also. The reason for that is if you go to references, you see that anytime that 3D view, that 3D model is created, that it automatically references that corridor back to the 2D, and I don't believe you can detach that. Right. Nope, you cannot. And so anyway, that's why we're seeing the corridor. So that's the 3D file being referenced into the 2D file. Like I said, I can turn that off. In the 2D file, you're still going to have a couple items that are in use, with that corridor. Remember, in order to get that 3D model, we had created that corridor. We dropped the templates. That's the yellow is a corridor. The white is the template drop. So anyway, this chapter's about just displaying and viewing the 3D model. Before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about just view attributes here in the 2D view. I don't think Power JPEG had this feature. I don't remember for sure, but if not, down at the bottom, see where it says background map type? This is, it's kind of nice if just under view attributes, if you just want to quickly just turn on your aerial view, be able to turn it on and off real quick. You could do it this way or through that reference that we set up previously. Okay, so let's hold down the right button and let's go ahead and take a look at that 3D view. In fact, let's go ahead and close view 1 and then expand that 3D view. I just want to show you that by default, under view attributes, when you open up the window in that way, with holding your right mouse button down and hitting 3D, it automatically sets this, by default would be more like a wireframe, but it by default uses this illustration ignore lighting, and that probably is the best presentation, but there's others, and there are times where others come in useful, especially the transparent ones. So let me shut that down and let me check my defaults. It's usually easiest if the default's set to nearest, and the AccuSnap is turned on, so I can easily grab something with that cursor. Otherwise, as you probably found out, this thing's flying all over the place. So let's just kind of visualize what's going on here. For the most part, we're still going to make most of our decisions based on, it's kind of a combination of, like you would in the past, you're looking at your profile, you're looking at your cross sections, you're kind of imagining in your mind what this would look like in 3D, where it's kind of viewing it here. So it can be useful. For the most part, this 3D model, what it does for us, most importantly at this point, is probably just allows us to visualize a cross section anywhere, whether it be like dynamic or it be like a permanent live visualized cross section in the sheets file. But if we go up to view attributes, and as you're sitting in here, just go ahead and select any other display style, and then take your roller on your mouse, and you can just kind of scroll through. You can see most of these are probably not of any use, but there's a handful that definitely would be of use. And it oftentimes depends on, how much relief there is, things like that. Um, this thematic aspect angle can be good. Height, hillshade. Like I said, that's why this one's going to be so quick. It's you don't use these other ones too often, but really, you just need to know that they're available. Um, and also, well, what I should say is a bunch of these are available by default, but you can also click those three dots over to the side there, and it will show you all of these display styles, and you see over on the right hand side that you could either create your own. You could copy one of these. Maybe you like some aspect of it, but you'd like it different. You would prefer the background color to be white instead of black or brown or whatever color it happens to be. Maybe you do or do not want to see the visible edges. You'll probably mess with this a little bit more once you really get into this thing and you're really moving along, but you're just kind of getting it tweaked to just the way that you want it. Initially, you'll probably just use that standard, what I say it's called, illustration ignore lighting that they use by default. That is a good one. So let's go ahead and wrap this chapter up right there.